not. It's more fun that way. So I thought selling handmade workshop would work. So anyway, thank you guys for coming. So basically, just kind of real quick, I always start every webinar with kind of telling you who I am, and it gives a chance for new people to get into the room. And plus, it's I like telling my story. It helps to inspire a lot of other people from where I came from to where I am today. So back in 1999, I had left my husband. I had two boys, and we were struggling. We were really struggling. And so I started an online store, just trying to make income so I could be with my boys some more. And I would like to say I was the picture perfect mom working from home, where I was cooking, cleaning, ironing, and everything else. But sincerely, that was not me. And for most people that work at home with, especially with kids, this is our outfit, right? You're like in pajamas, you're pulling out your hair, you're trying to talk to somebody, whether it's a customer or what have you, and your kids are in the background. He's touching me. He's touching me. Yeah, I've been there and I've done it. So what happened is that I started my business, and I realized that during the summertime, my business was really slow because I was selling software. And I started getting involved with work at home mom groups, and I started learning a lot of stuff. And eventually what happened is I started this business called One Choice for Your Store. And it was because there were so many people like me that needed information, that needed help with their business, and everybody wanted to charge a consultation fee. And everyone wanted to charge them 10 grand to get a basic design. And basically what I did is I took everything that I hated about all these companies, and I created my own version. And what was really cool is my company became a partner with Yahoo Small Business. I had a radio show for several years, but then last year I had to put it on hold because my business it was too much going on at one time. But if you ever want research and stuff, I have a whole YouTube channel. I talk a lot about e-commerce and search engine optimization. Most people don't know what SEO means when they first start watching some of the things I do. But I want you guys to learn SEO. SEO is going to be one of the most important things that I can teach you during our time together. SEO is basically search engine optimization. It means that when somebody puts a search term in Google, that you come up first. And sometimes you'll see where customers don't rank number one for their own business name, which, oh my gosh, that's so much business lost. So SEO is huge. Learning how the search engines work, learning how to manipulate the search engines so that you can be number one, learning how to optimize your social media, your blogging, all of that. And all of that will help you to grow and become a major business. That's what we all want. Well, some of us don't want to be too major. Some of us want to be the next Chanel. It all just depends on what you want. And of course, as you probably know, my favorite hobby is sewing. I just love to sew. All right. Now, when people are trying to purchase something, they go through what's called a buying process. And basically, the buying process starts with awareness. And awareness is, Jessica has posted this really cool double-sided tape that she uses, right? And we all want to know, what is it? What is it? What is she using? Jessica's awesome. We all love her. I know it. And so we're like, what is it? This creates awareness, right? Now, she says this product is great. Now we're thinking about consideration. Now we're asking questions. Well, what is it? What does it do? How does it work? Then we go into purchase. We purchase the product. And after we purchase the product, we talk a little bit about, what was the customer service like? How fast did my product arrive? What about the shipping? Gosh, how many people have gotten fabric that they didn't wrap in plastic and it was raining and you're scared to death that, you're going to come home and your fabric's going to be ruined? I think I saw where one lady ordered a bunch of cork and this happened to her. That's all part of customer service, because all of that leads to brand loyalty. Brand loyalty is, the people out there that are saying, oh my gosh, I love this person. Just like I'm saying, I love Jessica. She, I have applied so much of what she does in her business to my sewing, and I've applied this knowledge to my business. No clue why I didn't apply this to my sewing until I started seeing some of the things that she was doing. And it was like, well, duh, Shauna, you got to work smarter, not harder, right? And so that's where we get to be loyal. That's where we tell our friends, hey, you got to check out this group. This group is really cool. I'm learning a lot of things that I never knew before. So the persona that we talked about this week is so important. And in order to kind of give you an idea of how a persona can really work for you, I wanted to kind of go over the persona I used for my business, because I think if you can kind of see how I applied it, it might give you ideas on how to apply it for your business. So when I started my company, my customer was named Mary. And she was just like me. She's a single mom with 2 kids, and the kids are driving her crazy. She also works full time. She's trying to start an online business. She's trying to support her kids. She wants to quit her job so that way she can be there with her kids and be there for doctors and all of that. She wants the freedom to actually be a mom or take a day off. But unfortunately, because she works full time, most of the work she does is right after she gets the kids to sleep, and she's up till 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. So why is all of this important? Well, what I realized is if I'm going to help moms, then I have to make sure that the information is available at all times. That is why from the very beginning, I started doing all of my videos and popping them up on YouTube. I wanted the information there, so if it was 2 o'clock in the morning, she was not stuck, she can get it done. I know she has to work quickly so she can accomplish more. Instead of creating some big fancy intro before one of my videos, this is a tutorial on this. She doesn't have time for fluff. Right? She needs to know where to start. She's got to start with the basics. So I started out with the very, very, very basics. And although there were people that knew more, this was the persona. She has to learn what the priorities are when it comes to growing the business, because you guys probably know, you are not just a designer or the purse maker or handbag maker. You're also the shipping department, the bookkeeper, the customer service rep, the janitor. You wear many, many hats, but you have to understand what needs to come first. What are the priorities? Because that time is so limited and the budget is limited as well. Now, when I started out with this persona, there were some people that said, well, Shauna, you're never going to get any business if this is the kind of person you're focusing on, because the ones that don't have money, you're not going to make money from, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And a lot of people, when they think about how to create their business, they get scared of that persona because they think it pigeonholes them. So this was the site. Well, I haven't worked on it in a couple of years because my customers come first. And if I'm ever have an extra time, I'll do our site next. But if I've made sure Yahoo Store tutorials, right? Remember the persona, mom, working late, find it fast. So I put all these tutorials in, and our site, compared to the other developers that are in my field, they don't have this kind of content. They don't have this kind of instruction, but yet, even though all of my writing, my radio show, my video tutorials focus on a single mother, we have worked with some of the biggest businesses out there. As a matter of fact, I don't know if I still have the picture on our portfolio, but we actually, here I am thinking of the single mom. We did the Canada's Body Shop website. The Body Shop, the store that's in every single mall. People are so scared of creating personas because they're afraid, well, if I focus on this one customer, then I'm not going to get any other type of customers. If I focus on just backpacks, I won't get somebody that wants a purse. I can tell you from experience, this is not the case. The persona is just a place for you to start. The persona is just a place for you to launch from. The persona is there to help guide you, but it doesn't define you. Because just like how I grew my business, you're going to grow yours as well. So I hope that that kind of helps to explain how I applied it in a totally different setting, because now let's look at that buying process again, right? What did I do? I created awareness. I considered, I created this consideration. Then eventually the customers purchased from me. I gave them awesome customer service. And because of that, I have such brand loyalty that I have not paid a single dime for any advertising for my business. I have not had to go out and actively market my business for several years because I have more than enough. And I just, I'm a spiritual person, so I say thank you for the blessings, thank you for the blessings. But this is what happens as you grow your business. So the first step is creating awareness. But if you don't understand what the customer's needs are, how do they behave, what are their preferences, then you can't even get to this point. We have to start somewhere. And this is why I tell people personas are everything. And I hope and I pray that by just showing you an example of how I built my business was not what defined me and who I am today. It was just to get started. But when your customers become real in your mind and you can hear them and you can see them and everything that you do is thinking about that customer, it really helps to get more customers. Do you remember that old saying that, they won't care about you until they know how much you care about them? That saying is so true. Husband, I'm sorry, you're going to have to wait. I'm with the ladies. Sorry. All right. So awareness. How does this affect us? Fabric choices, the style of bags, the bling that you create, and pictures are the most important. And I'm sorry, it's not your pricing. It is not your pricing, and I'll show you why. Let's start out. We're looking at style here, right? This was a little Caroline that I made. And this is my beautiful daughter, Megan. Does this little bag work for her? No, she's a mom. She's a mom. She's got the biggest bag in the world. Not only that, this fabric is the heads of sewing threads. that's not her style. Me, I'm like, oh, that is so cute. Now, this is Luke and Carol. These guys are best friends. She's a country girl at heart. She is a hockey player. And when we do our annual Easter hunting games in our backyard, you better watch out for her because she'll hockey check you. This blinged out purse is not for her. Fabric choices. I'm going to say something that some people are going to be really shocked about. Not everybody loves Tula Pink. This is my grandmother. She prefers leather or she prefers flowers. Tula Pink, not her thing. Now, here's another great point I would love to make here. Just because Tula Pink is not her thing doesn't mean that Tula Pink stops making fabric. And this is something you're going to have to realize with your bags, and there will become a day when you have to go through this because I had to do it with our designs. There are going to be people out there that think your bags are horrible, that your bags are overpriced, that your bags are not sewn correctly. There are going to be those negative people, just like there are people out there that say, I don't like Tula Pink. Tula Pink doesn't stop doing what she's doing and doesn't stop designing just because a few people don't like her fabric. And you can't stop what you're doing just because a few people don't like yours. It's going to happen. Don't let it kill the person inside of you. I've seen it happen too many times with our designers. Now, let's talk about other things. Pictures. This is my daughter-in-law, Renee. She loves seeing like style pictures that kind of help show off like, what can I do with this? What can I do with that? And I believe it was in the Swoon group where I saw that a woman posted a picture of her bag with an outfit. And I thought, oh my gosh, I don't even know if this chick realizes it, but that is brilliant marketing. Brilliant marketing. So if you're looking at your customer, right, are they these young girls that would love to see how it works with an outfit or how they can change from day or night? Or is your customer my daughter? She's more looking at the size of the bag, the functionality of the bag. You know, is it going to carry the diapers, the wipes? Because she's got 2 babies that are 10 months apart. Her bag is overflowing, right? Is she my grandmother? Is she the grandmother that she's more, it just has to look pretty? All of that goes into play. And until you really understand your customers, it's really hard to do what it's going to take to get these customers. And if you can really focus in on your customer, whether you're brand new or maybe you've never thought of this, it's going to only help you. And I know I said it's not about pricing. On the left, there's a picture of a purse from Walmart. On the right, we all know what it is. The price difference between these bags is over $2,000. If you're going to sell the inexpensive bags like Walmart, that's okay. You can do that. However, if that's your target market, then you have to do just as Walmart does. Walmart will go in and let's say I'm a wholesaler and I say this bag is $5. Walmart says, yeah, but I'm only going to pay $2.50. That's how Walmart does it. And that's how they keep prices low. So if Walmart, if that's your customer, low price items, younger moms, you have to be very careful about who are you buying your fabric from? What kind of pricing are you getting? You know, how can you get the most out of the least amount of fabric? because that's how you're going to keep prices down. If your customer is the Chanel customer, she doesn't care how much it costs. She just wants the bag. And there are those that are in between. As a matter of fact, if it's okay, I'd like to look at some examples. Now, one of the ladies that I saw right off the bat that I'm like, wow, everything she makes is gorgeous. And I'm sure you guys have seen her. Deedlebug Handmade. Excuse me. I remember when she posted this post. Custom orders are now filled for June and July. This was March 29th. If you'd like to be put on the waiting list for August, comment on this post. Take a look at how many comments. 89. Before this post, she had another one. There were over 200 comments waiting to get on the list. Now, one thing I've noticed about her, she doesn't, you're not going to argue with her or discuss anything about pricing. She has her set price. You cannot buy fabric and send it to her that she's going to use. This is what it is, and that's it. And she is successful at doing that. And I think she does a great job of doing that. People aren't going to her and, oh, that's $100. It's too much. They're saying, I'll pay extra to be on your list. Pricing is a difficult thing to think about. And I want to, if there's one lesson I can teach you and you never learn anything else, it's that you can't focus on your pricing. Because I got a couple of reasons. One, let's say that Mary's going to sell it for $10. She wants to be the low price, right? Susie comes around later and she wants to be the lowest price and she's going to charge $9. Tom said, I can beat that and I'm going to be $8. And then Betty comes along and says, well, I'm going to be $5. And they keep going down, down, down until they're both out of business. If you want to compete with pricing, it's going to be extremely difficult. You have to set your own pricing. And you have to stand tall and stand firm on that. I mean, I remember a girlfriend of mine, she's like, oh, I could sell a bunch of these, and, what, $30? And I'm like, honey, there's $30 worth of supplies in that. She didn't understand that until I showed her why. I showed her the interfacing. I showed her the inside, the outside lining. I showed her the process. I showed her the bling. And now she's talking about selling it to her friends for $150. So if you're just getting started and you don't have a long waiting list to the end of the year, like Deedlebug Handmade, my suggestion to you is constantly put out pictures of it all. I'm telling you, let's see pictures of you in process. Let's see pictures of cutting it. Let's show pictures of interfacing. You've got to show them why this is not a $10 Walmart bag. People aren't going to get it. Remember, nobody cares unless they know how much you care. Show them how much you care. Show them what you have available. I watched somebody, and I think it was on the Swoon site that said, how am I supposed to compete? Somebody's selling an Ethel for $25, and that's what it cost in materials. And I understand why she's saying that, but you have to understand that maybe this is a person at a church who was given all the fabric and they're trying to raise money. Maybe it's just somebody who doesn't understand her worth. But that doesn't matter. What she does is different. What she's doing is not what you do. It's not what you are going to do. You know, yes, we can be inspired by others, but I promise you that each one of you have your own unique, different set of customers. You are not competing against each other. And the only way that I can even come close to helping to understand that is I opened up my very first software store. And I realized that when people were looking up this Microsoft software, one of my competitors came up for 3 or 4 different sites that he owned. So I'm like, well, that doesn't make sense. I'll just open up another site. And I had my original site was blue. The second site I designed in red and black. And I'm selling the exact same products. I am selling, I mean, everything is the exact same, except one was blue, one was red. And it was so interesting. The people on the blue site would call and ask a ton of questions. The people on the red site would just buy. They were in a hurry. And we talk a lot in our marketing classes about how colors affect moods. They also affect buying habits too. Here was the exact same product, exact same price, but the customers were completely different. Just like someone who looks at this jean purse, this is going to go, oh my gosh, that's so cute. And somebody else is going to say, oh, that's so ugly. Again, this is why you can't let other people determine what you do. Everybody has different taste. Your customers are going to be unique. The people you interact with are going to be unique. You can look at other people and learn from them, but you are unique. And you got to do what you are going to do. And if I can help you with that. Now, when I talked about pictures, I like looking at this because the pictures, when I look at these pictures, I try to do a fun test with my customers. And I'm like, okay, what type of persona is going to buy the Maryland bag? What type of persona is going to buy the jean bag? What type of persona is going to buy the wedding bag, right? Here are all these people selling from 40, 50, 60, and someone here that's selling for 30. It's different customers completely. The person that is going to buy the $30 bag is a completely different person that's going to buy the $60 bag. That comes down to your personas. That comes down to your personas. Just like this, I can't remember who it was, but they did a tutorial on how they did the rolled handles. And the purse at the very end was like drop dead gorgeous. And they said that I think they were going to list it for $200, right? And there are going to be people out there that go, $200? And there's other people that look at it and go, oh my gosh, $200 is a steal. So who's your customer? You have to remember who they are. When we did, where I said, who is your customer? And we start looking at it, I hope that you go through and read all the different responses inside of there, because you can learn a lot from each other. For instance, there was one person that sells a lot of the essential oils and talked about what a community they are and how, there's this big thing on community. Referrals. I love referrals. Referrals are the best because think about the referrals. Not only have you created the awareness, the consideration, the customer's purchase, you did great customer service, and now brand loyalty. They're telling their friends about you. You know what I mean? And that's what you have to understand. And that's why it's so important. The whole reason why I brought up the subject of personas was actually because Jessica said, I'm thinking about reaching out to other bloggers because she wants to do more retail sales. And the first thing I thought of was, well, what kind of bloggers are you going to reach out to? Why is that important? Go back to our people that we were looking at. Now, if she is sending a bag to my daughter-in-law might not look at the fine stitching or leather work or really get it, right? She might not get it. So she might not do that great of a blog post. My grandmother, on the other hand, she would be like, oh my gosh, look how beautiful this is. And what is this? It's cork. You understand what I'm saying? If you're going to go and talk with other people and do marketing, who are you going to talk to about marketing with? What kind of person? What do they do? What do they like? You know what I mean? You've got to think about all those things, because what winds up happening is when we don't think about these kinds of, who our customer is and what they like and, what do they do and all this other stuff, what winds up happening is you send out 10 person, you send out 10 purses to 10 people, and yeah, they blog about it and you get one sale. But what if, and I talk about Jessica because I know she started the group. She does pretty much most of the posting in the group. We all know her. We've all seen her bags. So I think it's a little easier to relate to her. So I hope that's okay. But with Jessica, the first time I saw her bags, all I could think was Hawaii. I didn't think that the cork was made in Italy or wherever it's made. Maybe I'm a moron. But all I could think of was Hawaii. And it may have been her picture in the flower, but all I could think about was Hawaii. And she has the triangles, right? Those are the signature move. And that's something that you see a lot when you're in Hawaii. So when I look at her bags, all I can think about are, I want to go to Hawaii. I want to go to Hawaii. Now, what if she was to reach out to bloggers that talked about traveling? Would those bloggers appreciate what she has? Could they incorporate her bag with some type of contest and they get to go to Hawaii? And how cool would it be if we start marketing the bags on how you can bring a slice of Hawaii home with you just by buying one of these bags? I mean, come on. Take Hawaii home with you. I mean, these are the kind of ideas that you want to think about. As a matter of fact, one of the discussions that we had was with a lady that sells products, for people that are coming to Alaska, right? When we go somewhere and we visit, we want to take something home that reminds us of that vacation, right? So how could we play up that whole feel? Could we use furs? Like the snow dogs is what I'm thinking about. What kind of look, feel, kind of vibe can we put out from a product? How many of you have purchased something on a special trip and every time you look at it, you think about that trip? It's pretty special. It's pretty special. And what's really great is if you can tie a product with an emotion, oh, sales go through the roof. Trust me on this. All right. Now, the last thing I want to do is I want to give you something to just think about. I want you to think about, go do a search. Instagram is great for this because all you're going to see is pictures. So do a search and look for the type of bags that you sell. I did Swoon Patterns because that's where I personally started. I think I saw Jessica post something and then I followed over to her group. But look at the pictures and which ones make you want to purchase. Which ones you just are like, man, that's awesome. You know, which of these bags just says, oh, I want. Now, I will say one thing. This image right here stands out to me. And sometimes I get worried about doing these kind of live reviews because, you know, if you say something or use one example that maybe you don't want to ever hurt anybody's feelings. But these are the kind of things that if you look for and look at and understand the choices behind them, then it can help you to create a better business. So for instance, I love that this image here is basically I'm seeing the bag, right? I am seeing the bag and I'm like, wow, gorgeous. Look over here too. You're seeing the bag. Whereas there was one picture that I saw and I'm like, all I see is your design on the picture and not the actual product itself. And maybe it was on Etsy, but it was like, I know you guys have seen it where they put in all these graphics to try to make it look better, but what winds up happening is you don't see the product. Let's do another example real quick. How many times have you gone to Etsy and you're looking for something in particular? You're looking for a size. I've done this. I took a class on Craftsy and it was the ultimate travel bag and I had to have 1.5 inches inside hardware for the strap. And it was so difficult to find because they would put it's 1.5, but it didn't actually have the size on the inside, which didn't equal 1.5 inches. Now I'm just talking as a newbie, but if you understand the buying process, it does help you. So as soon as I found one that actually said 1.5 inches, I just bought it. I didn't care about price. Now, talking about pricing. Some people don't believe that what I say about the pricing, but how many of you have gone on Amazon and purchased product that you need, even though it's more expensive, but you know you'll have it in 2 days? I've done it. I've spent like $6 more on a product just so I could have it the next day. Price is not always the decision that it comes down to when we go to purchase products. It's not always. There are instances, there are other things, but you get the picture. All right, so look at the pictures. Go and look at Instagram and look at the pictures. You know, I see a lot of people where they do these, why can't I think of the word of it right now? It's late at night. I apologize. Where they put their name over it. Why can't I think of the word? I'll come up with it as soon as we're done. But anyway, it covers up the picture so much you can't see the product. And it's because they're worried that somebody's going to steal their image. Is it more important for you to sell your products, or is it more important that somebody doesn't steal your image? Which one's more important? Watermark. Deborah, that would have drove me crazy. I would have ended the webinar. I would have walked away and I would have been like, watermark. It's late at night. I'm sorry. But think about those kinds of things when you're posting your pictures. Is it more important for your clients and customers to see the size? I love the pictures where they actually show it on a body. Because a lot of times you see a bag that looks huge and you see it up against the body and it's not. Or it looks really, really small, but you see it up against the body and it's not. The one thing that I said, remember, pictures are probably one of the most important things. Normally when we go shopping, what do? Right? If we go into a fabric store or an upholstery store, what do we do with the vinyl? We start touching it, right? We want to touch. Is it soft? Is it hard? What does this fabric feel like? We want to touch it. When people are making those buying decisions, they use their senses. They use their eyesight. They use touch. Sometimes they use smell. And when you're selling things online, you don't have that option. So one of the best things you can do is help your customers before they ask. Take those pictures to show how big or how small it is. On Instagram, I love that they do this kind of picture collage. For those of you that don't know how to do those kind of picture collages, I use an app and it's called, let me grab it. It's called PicsArt, PicsArt. It will create collages and not put some silly watermark on my image. But these are great for Instagram, but they don't work as well as selling your products on Etsy or Facebook. Interesting, right? The reason being is on Instagram, you only see one picture, right? It's just one picture at a time. Whereas on Etsy, you can cycle through. On Facebook, you can cycle through multiple images. So these work really great on Instagram, by the way. Just another topic. Now, a lot of people are scared. I'm sorry, that's my dog. A lot of people get worried about, well, I'm not taking the best pictures, or it's not the brightest, or they get so scared that they actually become paralyzed and they don't do anything at all. Don't worry about that. Go drive to the park. Go take a picture in the backyard. You know, it doesn't have to have the perfect white background every single time. The trick is to focus on the product. Focus on the product. You guys make some of the most beautiful items I've ever seen in my life. You guys are amazing. You guys inspire me. You guys make it so I'm like, oh, I'm going to Chicago tomorrow to go buy an industrial because you guys have inspired me. But for normal people who aren't looking at these every day, think about that image. Think about who your customer is. Think about what they want. Think about their likes. Think about their age. Think about all these different things to help you to market your product to your customer. So I hope it's okay. I came up with a little bit of homework for you for this week, and that is just create one persona. Give them a name, give them an occupation, give them a yearly salary, and yes, that's important. Give them a picture. Research. Where do they shop? Are they shopping at Old Navy? Are they shopping at, Bloomingdale's? Where are they shopping? What do those places look like? What do those online stores look like? What do their products look like? If you ever, and you may not have done so until now, but There is a very big difference between how products on Old Navy are shown and how products on, let's say, um, Nordstrom's. All right, so let's go into dresses. All right, and notice how every picture, I mean, it's like, it's beautiful. It's a fashion shoot, right? Notice the models. Notice how they look. Now, go to Old Navy and let's go to women and let's look at their clothes, right? A lot of times what they do is they're looking for fun, comfortable. They're looking like the brand, right? The brand. They've actually started doing a much better job, which was really interesting, of adding in accessories once they started selling them. And if you notice, these girls have a purse. These girls have shoes, right? Now go back over here and we're focusing on the outfit. Old Navy is a lifestyle. Nordstrom's, it's expensive, it's fashion, it's designer. This is why it's so important. So where do they shop? What do those places look like? And how are they marketing to your customer? You know, how are they doing it? Because if we want to market to those same people, we have to understand all of this so that we can make the right fabric choices and the right styles, and so that we can put in the right pricing, right? We know that a young mom is not going to be as quick to spend $200 as maybe somebody who is in their 40s and loves fashion. You know, if you look at my daughter, she's not going to pay $200 for a purse. Guarantee it. Me? Psh, give it to me if it's beautiful, right? Who are they? What are they looking for? All of this is going to help you to build your business as big as it can be. And then one day, 10 years from now, you're going to do a webinar all about how you guys got started, and you're going to pay it forward too. So if you have any questions for me, there's a little questions box. I'm the only one that sees your question if you type it in. I'm the only one. Nobody else sees it. I'm not going to say your name or anything like that, so that way you don't have to feel embarrassed. But if there's anything I can help with, please let me know. From here, I thought, because the group is so big and I would love a chance for people to be able to kind of ask questions, I thought, I've been really thinking about when we should really do this, you know. And so I was also thinking maybe what we could do is do one in the afternoon, and then in the next week maybe we'll do it in the evening, you know, kind of switch it up a little bit just so that everybody has a chance. But either way, I'm recording it, I'm uploading it to YouTube. I'll make sure to put where it's at in the file section. And of course, you know, if you guys have more questions, I live for teaching this stuff. I love teaching this stuff. And you guys have taught me so much. This is the least I could do. So please, if there's anything I can do, and thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for saying that. I'm glad it was informative. Thank you. Thank you. Aw. I appreciate you. No, I love this. Appreciate you're not trying to sell us products. No, you know, honestly, again, when I told you when I started my business, I was trying to do everything that I hated about other businesses. And one of the things I hated is you would pay all this money to go to a conference, and they spent most of their time trying to convince you to buy their book or buy their product. And it was like, are you kidding me? You know, I've already paid. Oh, give me a break. You know, you guys, all I ask from you guys is, just keep paying it forward. You guys have paid it forward and inspired others, and you guys do tutorials and you help, and you know, that is so amazing. And I'm just so thankful Jessica gave me an opportunity to be able to give back, you know, and I love it. I love it. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And, we all have something to give to each other. We can all inspire each other. And, we can all work together to just build the dreams that we want to make. And no, I will never try to sell you anything unless it's one of my bags. But I'm not that good yet. Okay, giving me a good food for thought. Oh, good. Yes. Direction. Yes. Focus. A lot of times when we're starting a business, we just, we kind of feel like we're out in a swimming pool and we're just kind of like dog paddling, but we're not really sure what to do, but it helps if somebody says, go swim to the other side and back. It's helpful. And I had my mentors and they helped me, and now it's my turn. It's my turn. I love the work you're sharing. Personality. Well, thank you. Thank you. And I appreciate you saying that about my personality. And you know what? Some people don't like me, and that's okay. That's okay. Oh my gosh. Okay. If you guys have a second, I'll tell you a funny story. Otherwise, we'll just do this again next week. But when I first started the business, I started emailing people like, hey, I'm here. And I always would put a smiley face. And I just, you know, it's online, and, you could say you're a brat. Or if you put a smiley face after it, you're a brat. And so, I used the emotion cons, and this guy wrote me back, and it was like one of the very first people I tried it on. He's, I'm not going to do business with somebody who put smiley faces in their emails. What kind of business is this? And at first I was devastated, devastated. And my grandfather said, you are wonderful, honey. Don't you let anybody change anything about you. And if they don't like you, they ain't good enough for you. So for all you ladies out there, don't let anybody say that your bags ain't good enough, because if they don't like it, they ain't good enough for your bags. All right, guys. I know you're probably like, I got to get back to my family. All right. So we'll do this again. We'll do this again next week. We'll post something Wednesday, and then we'll have another webinar. And thank you guys for coming. You guys make it all worth it, right? All right, guys. Since there's no other questions, I'll see ya. I'll post pictures tomorrow of my new baby. I'm so excited. Y'all have like spoiled me. I'm watching you guys and I'm like, oh, I gotta have one. um, and I'll post the video as soon as I can. All right, bye everybody. Have a great night.